Questions for Alex Bear?
When you see Miami on the schedule, what does that mean for you in your practice preparation? Do you pick it up a notch? You know, Miami, Toledo, I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit bigger than that team maybe you played last week.
Yes and no. I mean, each game's a big game, you know, especially if we keep winning. So, Miami, you know, it's a rivalry game, but, you know, it was a rivalry game. It was a little bigger back, you know, a few decades ago. But, you know, we still look at it as, you know, it's a big game and it's going to be one. Because, you know, they're a good team. So, you know, we're going to have to come out and, you know, we need guys, you know, get an extra film, extra stretching, and get ready for, you know, a big game this weekend.
I guess your first win streak of the season. Are you starting to, you know, feel a little more, you know, relaxed, a little more comfortable now in terms of getting your swagger a little bit?
I don't think you can ever be relaxed. You know, you gotta, you know, you can't look back at that. You know, we won a couple games in a row, but that's not going to mean anything if we lose this week. So, you know, it's nice to win. You know, it feels good, but you know, we have a 24-hour rule. So, you know, we enjoy it for 24 hours, and then, you know, come Sunday afternoon, you know, we're preparing for the next team.
But do you feel like those 2 wins give you momentum going into Saturday?
Yeah. I mean, it feels good. You know, it's better. It's always better winning than losing. So, but you know, Miami's coming off a win as well, a couple wins in a row. So, you know, I'm sure they're feeling the same way. So that's just, you know, something. You know, we're not really looking at too much.
Do you think it's just coincidence, or in this 2-game winning streak, you've had 5 catches in each game, and they're starting to throw the ball more to you? Do you think that's just coincidental?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I like to bug Coach R a lot. You know, throw the ball to me more, but you know, whether it's true or not, I embrace my role. You know, whether it's blocking, you know, catching the ball. You know, I love playing tight end. You know, I love that position. You know, whether it rewards, you know, touchdowns and catches, or whether it's reward blocking a guy. You know, I really embrace that role and love that position. So, whatever they have me do, I'm not going to complain about.
What makes you love that position? I mean, it seemed to me it'd be more fun to be a wide receiver and just running around out there and having the ball thrown to you instead of having to get your hands dirty.
Yeah, well, you know, I like getting my hands dirty. I like, you know, blocking. I like, you know, putting guys on their backs, and you know, and I like catching the ball. So that way you get to do both. So, you know, tight ends, you know, tight end, you got to know the whole blocking scheme. You got to know the whole receiving scheme. So, you know, at any given play, I can tell you what all 11 guys on the field are doing. You know, because that's something as a tight end, you got to know what everyone's doing, because, you know, one play you could be blocking, the next play you could be passing. So, you know, it's a fun position.
What's going to break this streak of Miami beating you guys 15 years in a row here now?
Just preparation, you know. You know, we got to be ready for it, because, you know, they're going to be just as hungry as we are for this win. You know, this is a championship game. You know, they're 2-0, we're 1-1 in the MAC. So, you know, hopefully we get the home crowd out there. We're going to be loud, and, you know, we're going to have to feed off that. And, you know, luckily we got at home. But, yeah, you're right. You know, we haven't won here since 1997, so that's something that, you know, we're definitely going to have to change, and hope we can this week.
Anything else?